Hey up YouTube, it's been a while. Happy New Year, actually, before I forget. This is my first video 2022. I have done a couple of fishing trips, just not on film. And tonight is something a bit special. I'll come to that in a minute. So you just see me set up, bit of a long setup time lapse again because I had a bit of a mare. First cast out on what you see as the blue tipped rod, cracked off. Completely new to me mark, I don't know how to fish it, so that's going to happen. Oh, and that was something, wasn't it? That was definitely something. Oh, that was definitely something. It was either the lead letting go, because there's a hell of a lot of tension on the line because of the amount of tow. I'll tell you where I am in a sec. We'll just have a look, see what's going on with this. It feels heavy. Doesn't feel like there's any feedback on the line though. At least not yet. Oh, what bloody weed. I'm going to handball it in because I'm a bit concerned. Nah, nothing. Nothing on that. I think we're going to have a fair bit of that because I've got to think what happened, guys and girls. And I do use that term for a reason. Welcome all the new subscribers. And I have seen that I think it's something like 14% of my viewers are female. 14% of my subscribers are female. So welcome to the channel. Although, in saying that, that could just be the missus and the kids, couldn't it? 14, what's 14? No, it couldn't be. Yeah, I think what happened there was that whatever I was hooked into, I don't think it was a fish. I think my hook bounced out of some weed or out of a rock. The tow is horrific. Anyway, where am I? I'm on the north bank. I'm just down from Cod Corner. And that's the intro, guys. Let me just get this sorted out, get this reeled in, rebaited, and we'll have a proper chat after the intro. settle. North Bank. North Bank. Just down from Cod Corner. When I say just down from Cod Corner, from what I'm told, led to believe, Cod Corner's about, literally just about 100 yards. Well, no, not 100 yards. Oh, I put it in the wrong way again, yeah. I don't know. It's there, basically. And I've come over here for the reason of something we've been trying to do for months now. I've come over to meet the Holderness Cod Father. So there's a couple of us out actually. There was meant to be 4 of us. Unfortunately, Jimmy from Cod Bites has had a bit of an issue. I suggest, I'm not going to talk about it, I'm not going to tell you what it was. I suggest you go over to his channel. If you'll be so kind, I'll try and remember to put a link in the description. Give him a like, give him a subscribe, and show him some love, because he's had an absolute nightmare tonight. And I hope he gets down. I'm told he is still coming. So hopefully he gets down and I get to fish with Cod Bites as well. But I'm here with Shane, the Holderness Cod Father. Right, tell you what, let me cast this and I'll do it in front of the camera. So I'm down here, we've got Shane, the Holderness Cod Father next to me. We've got Danny from Danny's UK Shore Fishing Adventures. He'll be going, he goes live. He doesn't, I say he doesn't produce videos, he does produce videos. But he doesn't do the editing. In his own words, he doesn't do the editing stuff. So what he does is he just goes live every time he goes fishing. He's down there as well. Come on, settle. I see that lead just going boing, 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 boing. That's a 7-ounce lead doing that. When I say there's a lot of tow on, I'm not exaggerating, there is a lot of tow on. Honestly thought I may not be able to fish with the Achios tonight. The tow could be too much, for that might not be the lead. Yeah, it is. It must be. The movement's too gradual. Honestly thought I might not be able to fish with the Achios tonight, because I thought there might be too much tow for it. And it still might be the case. However, the saving grace is, because really you shouldn't use a 7-ounce on the Achios, but the saving grace is, we're not chucking out. I'm told about 30, 40 yards out, no, 30 metres out, is some power lines. God almighty. Come on, settle, or I'm going to have to bring you in just to recast you. There, I think that's got it. Although I think there's a weed bed over there. I think that's what I snagged up into. It was not moving, whatever the hell it was. I don't know if it'll show up on the time lapse, but the rod tip basically just went, from the curvature it's got in it now, it just went like that and stayed there. So I don't know whether an eel took it in a hole or what, but it did not move. So sorry Craig, your weights aren't in this video because I only brought one. I was using a glow-in-the-dark weight, and I only brought one of them, and that was what was on there for my first cast. So apologies, but I will show them, and I will be using them because they're really great weights. The wires on them are lovely and strong. Whether you want them for the day glow or not, for the night glow, for the glow in the dark or not, they're really good weights. So what was we saying? Shane, Danny, and like I said, Jimmy from Cod Bites is hopefully joining us later on. This was actually his choice of venue, but like I said, he has had a real nightmare. So head on over. I'll try and put a link in the corner if it doesn't let me. A link to his channel will be down in the description below. In fact, a permanent link to his channel will be down in the description below, because it will replace Vern. Because for whatever reason, Vern's fallen out with me. I'm not going to rattle on about it. I will say this though. Don't profess to be a real man and then go a bigger man and then go on about whatever the hell it is, because you won't tell me what it is, for nearly a month and a half. Although I suppose a lot of that is because his videos are a month behind. But come on, we're in January now and you're complaining about something that happened in mid-November. You know, if you don't profess to be a bigger man, if you're not going to be a bigger man, just move on. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I've had rants on that, on the issue, and I've edited them out in earlier videos. There's no need for it. So, oh, there is one thing I want to rant about though, and I think it's Shane that actually said it, and I'll go and have a chat with him in a bit. But I get a lot of messages saying, oh, you guys over on South Bank, you've got it so easy able to fish from your boot. I appreciate I ain't fishing from my car boot directly. But come on guys, you've got a lovely bricked promenade here. You've got lights all the way up and down it. You've got these little alcoves here, which are brilliant for us fishermen, I'll show you. Because look, is it light enough to be showing up on camera? Just about. You've got benches and bins. I mean, seriously, if this isn't living in life a luxury, I don't know what is for fishermen. It's, you know, I think that might have cast us so far. Problem with this pen, I was told to keep my leads in close, which is perfect. The Achios is perfect for that. But the pen, you just go boop, and your leads go. So I've purposely put the softer tip on, and it appears as though the heavier lead just activates the rod and it just goes shoom, which is why it came soaring past, went past the Achios that settled nearly at my 12 o'clock. And I'm hoping hasn't gone into where that initial cast snagged up, but unfortunately it does look like it might have done. But yeah, fingers crossed for a cod on video tonight. I did put the poll up about where you want to see me go fishing. Part of the reason that I contacted Shane actually was in the hope that he was going to the Holderness coast, because that was by, I think the nearest competitor was 16% or somewhere around that, just under 20% anyway. The winner was the Holderness coast by votes, probably Easington. In fact, I think I did put Easington, and it got over 50% of the votes. If you're watching this and you want to influence that vote, it is still live over on my community page. The polls on my community, not Facebook, my YouTube community page. If you go to my actual channel, across the top you've got like videos, community, about, things like that. The community page is where I post little updates about what's going on. You know, if for whatever reason I'm not getting out, or like when I had COVID, or you know, little things like that, I post on there. I think my hand warmer's gone out. So do head on over, do check that out. And on your phone it should come up on the timeline actually, should my poll. I think we're going to have to bring the Achios in because I think it's been washed nearly all the way back in now. I think Shane might have had a couple of bites straight off the bat. I think I might have done. But I'm not 100% sure on that, I don't know. But hopefully, I'm hoping actually there's enough light down here to be able to do a nighttime time lapse of the rods. I might switch the Achios to a small hook 2-hook clip down. Since as we're fishing close in anyway, it doesn't seem like it would be a silly idea to have some small hooks out there. But we'll see how it's fishing. I don't have any small baits. I am fishing with squid and black wraps and squid and cart wing wraps. Yeah, this is, I'm gonna have to recast this one. Hopefully I can get it in. There was a couple of knocks on it as soon as it hit the water. It is coming, but it is heavy. There we go. The lead's come free. And I've got a feeling, like I said, that there is a weed bed somewhere in front of me. And I do hate that the only thing I've found that I don't like about this pen is the same as the only thing I found that I don't like about the Achios. And that's that the first eye is so small that if you've any weed in your leader knot, this happens. Straight in the mouth. Didn't want it in the mouth.
That's what she said. No.
I really do need to spend some time learning some different leader knot knots. Because it's always this Tampax weed or whatever, you know, that's what I know it as. Sounds friendly. I don't know if that's Shane's daughter that's come to see him. The purveyor of fine custom apparel, RMR Design. I'm currently in the process of designing a new hoodie that I hope she can print for me. I'm going, instead of day glow, bollocks. This is what I was afraid of. Instead of day glow, I'm wanting some to do reflective, in the hope that, because I'm all about staying safe, and as my logo, as it were, is based around a hazard warning symbol, I think it should be quite apt rather than the glow-in-the-dark stuff. The glow-in-the-dark stuff's great, it is a little bit gimmicky though. So I'm looking at doing that next. And then hopefully those ones will actually go up for sale. So for me and for RMR Designs, the glow-in-the-dark stuff was a bit of a beta test. I'm a bit dubious about where that line snagged up in the bricks, as to whether it might now be weakened, but so do check them out. I do plan on designing a new hoodie, hopefully, like I said, with some reflective accents on it. Oh, is Danny in? Or have they caught each other? Everybody's reeling in. Oh, that really didn't go far. We'll leave it. I think that caught up on some weed on the line. Trying to remember if I changed this bait when I last brought it in. So I brought it in for a recast. I'm not sure I actually changed the bait. So we'll do that as well. What's that? Oh, I don't like that noise. Oh, that's heavy. It's coming. It's just the mud's got hold of it, I think. Don't want to let go, that's for sure. No, that's snagged up. Might be down to one rod. Yeah, that's well snagged up. I was afraid I might have left it out too long. Yeah, that's well snagged up. I think I'm going to have to drop to one rod. Oh. That came out and subsequently went straight back into something. No, that snapped. Right, that puts a nail in the two rods thing, at least for now. See if this toe calms down a little bit later on. There we go. And I'm a bit dubious about how close in that one is, because that could just be at the foot of the wall. Oh. What is this ball of weed caught on? No idea. I think it's half at lead or not. I'm very tempted to put a scratching rig on, but I think I've left all my weights for that in the car. Yeah, I'm going to drop down to one rod. I am going to sort of retie this with a new leader and a new link on the end. So I always like to have things prepared. But for now, I'm going to drop down to one rod. I'll put you on time lapse and I'll see you in a bit. bit of a long time lapse on it, guys. Not stupid long, but it was. Not going, not happening. The tide seems to have calmed down, or the tide pull seems to have calmed down. So I'm a bit confident that I can leave the weights out a little bit longer now. I don't even know if you can see me in that shot. Although some would argue that's not what they're tuning in for, and it's really not. What I've done, I know I said I was probably going to keep the red rod, the Achios. To you, by the way, red is the Achios, the red tip light is the Achios, blue tip light is the Pen. Pen being the one that I normally fish at range. They're both really close in. They are both really close in. You know, I'm putting nothing into the cast at all. The rod is doing 100% of the flinging. All I'm doing is being the pivot point. So I'm probably looking at that, maybe 20, maybe not even 30 yards out. I say I've got no idea what's in front of me under the water. It could be rocks, it could be weed, it could be sand, it could be... there's certainly mud. You can tell from how hard it is to get the grips to come out. But that's the estuary for you. I'm leaving these baits out a little bit longer. I'm probably going to change the red rod sooner than the blue, because I've just sent out quite a large bait on the blue of squid and black. In fact, they both got squid and black on, but the red rod, with it being two size 1 fine wire hooks on a 2-hook clip down, which has had a few little vibrations on, so it's plausible that there might have been something that came along and sat on it, because it has got a flatty rig on. It's plausible that something came along and sat on it and has been sat on it for a while now. There is only one way to find out. The blue rod has just started. I don't know if it'll be enough for it to show up on camera, but the blue rod has just started shaking ever so slightly. Now there is a big bait on there with big hooks, so if that's a little fish having a sniff, it's got no chance. But it does look more like it could be a crab feather in the bait rather than a fish does that. But it is moving ever so slightly. I don't think it's the lead moving. Let's have a look, see if the line is drifting at all. Yes, the tide has officially turned. I think it's the line drifting. The leads are going back off to the left now. Not sure how long this session's going to be. This could be a really, really, really short video. To the point where, you know, I could end up packing down and we'll go see Danny and we'll go see Shane, we'll have a chat with them, and then I go. High tide was approximately 45 minutes, 50 minutes ago. I'm not too sure how much of the ebb you can actually fish. I don't know how fast the water recedes on this side, but if that tide, now the tide has turned, if it starts being an issue with the leads not holding bottom again, I might have to call that a night. I may have to call it a night. I don't know. I don't want to. But a combination of the weed and leads not holding bottom means it ain't really worth fishing. I'm throwing good bait away. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. We'll give it another hour or so. Another few casts, and if it becomes, like I say, if it becomes an issue, if I snag up again, I will definitely be dropping to one rod, because I don't have enough lead with me for snagging up. Has that gone slack? They've both gone slack. I could have had bites and not seen them. It's not that slack. So I'll tell you what, we'll bring this one in. So I don't envisage there being anything on it. There was a couple of knocks pretty much a couple of minutes after it went in the water. Come on, let go of my lead. Oh, do you know? Here we go again. Yeah, snagged up again. Happy days, we've got it out. That had travelled a hell of a lot further than I thought it had. It was almost down by Shane. Oh, and as predicted, it's not a blank. Yeah. Little scratching rig. Oh. There we go, little scratching rig. This one, do you want to have a look? Get led out that way. Is a flounder. It's a flatfish, obviously, because it lives on the bottom of the water, on the seabed like that. Buries itself in the sand, so it's white underneath and camouflaged on top. When that's in the water, you won't be able to see it at all. Of course you can. It's not that slimy.
It feels weird though.
Does fit, yes.
It's not slimy, but it's weird.
Let's see if we can get it unhooked and get it back. Is Shane in as well? Oh, he's on a flatty as well. Come on, open your mouth, let me see where this hook is. Oh, you don't. This one don't want to let go of this hook. Right, forceps. I might have to leave the hook in this one, which is never my preferred method. Oh no, got it. Got it out. Got it out. I am actually filming. I'm not in time lapse, am I? No, I'm not in time lapse. So there we go. Little North Bank dab. Off it's gone. So scratching rig does it again. Saves the blank. Saves the blank. That's what we like. And that's why we like scratching rigs. And that's why I should learn my lesson. Wow, that has flown round. That is why I should learn my lesson and always send a scratching rig. And I don't always. I do get sort of narrow-minded and sort of, oh, I want a cod, I want a cod, I want a cod. And it's not all about that, is it? I suppose it is for some fishermen, but it's not all about that for me. Right, where are my little snips? Because I whipped this bait on a bit tight and now I can't get it on. Not only did I save that from snagging up, but there was a fish on the end of it. And I did say that, I'm sure I said that actually when I cast it out. Right, let's see if we can retrieve this one and not snag this one. And this one's got a big bait on it, so if the bait's still in good nick, I shan't rebait it, I should just resend it. I mean, it feels heavy. But, oh, by Stu, I'm not used to using 7-ounce leads. Oh, there we go. Yeah, no, this one's still good. Just with the tide turning, it needs recasting. There's loads of scent left in that big bait. I'll have to quickly change the rig on the other line and just have a proper look at this bait. It's helicoptered as it's come back through the water. No, that's fine. We'll leave that out in the hope of a specimen fish. But this is just a polypennel, size 2 circle hook for the pennel, and a size 3/0 front hook or bottom hook. But I'm just going to resend this. There's plenty of life left in that bait yet. Like I say, I'm just been the pivot point. I'm putting nothing into these casts at all. letting the rod and then subsequently the tide do the work. I'm not bringing in any slack line. I'm just letting the tide draw the line tight, which some might say is a mistake. But a very reputable fisherman who used to film for Bag Up TV, told Danny, told me not to bother, although that line isn't going tight, so it's just drifting. So I'm gonna have to reel it a little bit. There we go. There we go. Right, I'm just gonna have to grab another rig because I'm gonna have to tie a new bottom hook onto that one because it was proper gut hooked. Luckily, that's the beauty of these fine wire hooks. If you have to be a little rough, the hook gives up before the fish, if that makes sense. Or that's the reason behind them. So in this case, whilst I did manage to grip it with the forceps, I did have to, I'll be honest, did have to give it a little tug. Oh, did I just miss that? Speaking of little tugs, did I just miss a bite on that then? It must have, I can't have done, it must have been lead bouncing. I'm sure just as I looked up, the rod tip was just springing back. But I guess I'll never know. I will know because I'll see it when I edit the video, won't I? And I'll be annoyed if I missed a bite, especially if it was a good one. But we'll get the scratching rig back out. And while I'm catching or not losing gear, I'm okay. I'm happy. When I start losing gear and it starts pumping up the cost, I'm looking at as well. And I mentioned in a couple of videos ago, would anybody be interested in buying bait wraps and rigs from me? Didn't actually get, I thought I'd get a bit more response than I did. I didn't expect loads of response, but I thought I'd get a little bit more than I did. But anyway, I'm also now looking at producing weights as well. The Gemini style weights. Because every time I've used a Gemini style weight, I've found it better at holding bottom than the breakaway style. That's slack lined me, hasn't it? I'm gonna have to have a look at that. Yeah, that's slack lined me. We'll tighten that up in a minute, see if there's anything there. I don't imagine there will be, but we live in hope, don't we? Now then, what's softer, the bait or the hook? The bait. Oh, I've got some silicone stoppers for these guys. Might have to put some on, courtesy of Mike from Rod and Pollux. Gave me some moonglow beads, and I did mean to sort of say that I'll put them on when I use the rig, but I mean, as I'm not power casting, I don't suppose it really matters, so I don't need them as a bait stop. It's moving down slightly. There we go. A little bit too much pressure on the hook length and not on the main line. Beauty of tying these rigs with stop knots or power gum. Instead of using crimps, you can adjust them on the fly, like the other one that I've just bent the hook on, getting it out of the fish. when I tie a new hook on, I can just move the knots. So I lose about half an inch off the hook length, off the snood, but it doesn't affect the rig so much as to make it so that I have to retie an entirely new rig. Right, I'm just going to pull that one tight. And I'm going to bring it in because I'm not sure whether I saw what I thought I saw. Oh no, it's gone tight again now. Perhaps I should bring it in. Might see if there was something on it. I mean, if there was a cod on it, correct me if I'm wrong, but if there was a cod on it, it'd still be checking. A cod doesn't sit on a bait, does it? Like a flatty does. Right, I'm going to pop you back on time lapse for a bit. And then yeah, pop you back on time lapse for a bit. In fact, I'll swing you around to the other side at rods because there's probably going to be more action. There's probably going to be more action on the red rod as opposed to the blue. So I'll swing you around here, and I might go have a chat with the Holderness Cod Father. There we go. Right, there we go. So yeah, first fish, happy days. Don't forget. I always forget to do this. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. My content shows real fishing. I don't always catch, sometimes I blank, sometimes I get annoyed and storm off. Sometimes I lose a load of gear, I get annoyed and I storm off. Sometimes I'm just in a bad mood and I storm off. No, I don't do that much storming off. I like to think I try and be as happy and as jovial as I can be most of the time. Oh, where these waves have come from. I haven't seen a boat go past. Not to say one hasn't gone past, but it is making that blue rod is still moving. We'll leave it a little longer. So I said there is a big bait on it, so we'll leave it a little longer. Pop you back on time lapse. I'll speak to you in a bit. Don't forget, like, share and subscribe. That's what I was getting to. Don't forget, please subscribe. It really does help me out. Right guys, back again. I was gone for a lot longer than I intended that time. Wow, there's a bend in this. I bet this is snagged up. In fact, they're both bent over. Oh, I bet they're both snagged up and it'd be my fault. I've been gone for ages. But both baits need changing, so we'll bring them both in. Have a look. Well, this one's travelling, so that's a good sign. It feels heavy, but then like I say, I'm not used to having a 7-ounce lead on. So it's just getting used to that. There's no feedback. So whatever it is bloody weed again. But yeah, I've just been down to see the rest of the lads. Right, there we go. Been chatting with Shane. Jimmy's made it of Cod Bites. Like I said, do go check out his channel and show him some love. Danny, Danny's UK Short Angling Adventures. He's currently live. And at the end of the day, all this secretism, all these secret WhatsApp groups and things like that, all you're going to do is kill the sport. You know, as much as it pains some of you to hear this, you're going to kill the sport, because us as content creators, as much as I'm sort of being a major hypocrite here, because I don't like it when my kids spend hours sat watching me. When my kids, what the hell? When my kids spend hours, well, I don't let my kids spend hours watching YouTube. So yeah, it does make me a bit of a hypocrite for saying this. But at the end of the day, the next generation, that's what they're doing, and that's what they're learning, that's what they're watching. You know, that's where and if we take away all this knowledge, as the classic fishermen no longer fish and things like that, you know, the old boys, once they stop fishing, if this knowledge isn't shared, they're not going to know where to fish. Oh, here we go again. Snagged up again. Oh, let's take a walk, see if I can get it out. Don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to fish at this rate. But anyway, what I was saying, you know, you can hate on us all you want, guys, for being YouTubers and showing where you go fishing and things like that. But at the end of the day, if we don't share the information is going to get lost, because you don't see many fellas taking the kids out anymore. Like you know, I mean, I learned to fish off my own back, and I learned to fish watching YouTubers. Some would say that's probably why I can't fish, but you know, I mean, yes, I used to coarse angle, but that was taught. That wasn't YouTube. But sea fishing, everything I learned about sea fishing pretty much has been learnt from YouTubers, down to locations and things like that. So, like I say, and this is becoming a recurrent rant, and it is just, and I know a lot of you are going to be saying it's not just, but it is very much just. You know, the Facebook groups are now dead, and a lot of the sort of rumours that I'm hearing is that it's because of people like me being a YouTuber, publishing locations and fishing reports and things like that. You know, people are feeling that the marks are going to get swamped with people. Well, I'm sorry, don't work that way. People watch fishing content generally because either A, they want to learn how to fish, or B, they already fish and they already know where they're going. Me showing marks and things like that really don't change anything. Don't change anything. Don't change popularity of marks or anything. And if that's what you think, then I'm sorry, you are incredibly naive. You know, we've got 4 YouTubers here tonight. And right, you know, whether it's a sign that we're in the wrong place or not, 4 YouTubers. 5 fishermen, 4 YouTubers. And one of the fishermen, I think is a relation to the YouTuber. Jimmy, if I'm wrong, it's you I'm meaning here. and we're the only ones here. You know, if we were ruining marks and telling people where to go was, or where we're going, was making a difference, then we wouldn't be the only ones here, would we? Oh, I'm gonna have to recast that. That went nowhere at all. That might have gone straight into rocks, actually. I'll bring that back in. You know, the impact of what we do is so minute. You know, you're more likely to find press articles have a bigger impact, like the articles in Sea Angler and things like that will have a bigger impact on a venue's popularity. Than YouTubers will. The only thing we do, if anything, is help out your local businesses by bringing in new fishermen. And I don't mean new fishermen as in new to the area fishermen. I mean new fishermen as in brand new, never fished before, wanting to pick up the sport. That was a bit better. Still not brilliant. I can't cast big leads with big weights. So yeah, we'll rebuild this one again for a second time, and it'll be the final time. The next crack off will be the end of the video. I don't have the weights. I don't have that many pre-tied rigs. I don't have... Oh, do I actually have another scratching rig? I've got some smaller pulley pennels with snoods on that I'll have to cut down. I'll have to have a look at that in a minute. Because I need a brew. I've not had a brew yet. Wow, the tide run has really flipped. Going mental in the other direction now. Might be worthwhile actually taking down the small rod. Because that tide run has gone monumentally in the other direction, and I don't have another 7-ounce lead. Yeah, I've not blanked. I've already had one fish. I'm going to pack down the other rod because the tide pull has gone crazy again. So I'm going to pack down the other rod and fish just the one. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as an excuse when I'm at home over the weekend to learn a new knot. Hopefully this video is actually going to go live on Sunday if I manage to get it edited in time. So if it does, let me know in the comments. And I think most of you actually are probably going to say blood knot, but let me know in the comments what your preferred knot is. For shock leaders, especially low profile that don't grab a load of weed, because that seems to be the bane of my life in winter on this coast, is grabbing weed. So yeah, dropping down to one rod. There's no way that this rod and the weights I have to put on it are going to be able to cope with that tide pull. That's crazy. I toyed with the idea of bringing the Cinetic, the stiffer rod, and I really should have done. I really should have done. But you know, I've made my bed. I'll lay in it. If I snag up again, I'm sorry, it's going to be a short video in that case, because I'm going to have to call it a night. But I'm going to have a chill out and a calm down, because I'm going to admit that's peed me a little bit. I don't like losing that much gear. I'm going to have a sit down, I'm going to have a cup of tea, and maybe I'll come back with a renewed vigour after the next time lapse. Or maybe I'll get peed off, packed down, and this will be my good night. I don't know. We'll see. If the credit music plays after the next time lapse, you know what's happened. I've got peed off. But if it doesn't, I hope it doesn't, because we've got another hour or two on here. And I'm hoping for a cod. Kurt, I don't know actually, I've not checked my phone. I'll check my phone in a sec. But like I say, I won't pack the camera down, because what I'll do is we'll walk up and we'll speak to the lads. We'll speak to the other fishermen that I'm fishing out with tonight. Have a quick chat with them on camera. Speaking to Shane, and apparently next weekend's tide should be pretty good for the Holderness coast. So maybe next week we'll go to Easington. We'll have to wait and see. Because I want to get that multi back out again, and I want to try and do some off the ground casting with it. So that's the hope. I'll probably might have Alf and Rosa with me. Rosa wanted to come tonight, but it's thing is with these late nights, it's too cold for her. Although here it's sheltered enough and probably wouldn't have caused an issue. But you know, we live and learn. I didn't know the mark. Oh. It's probably just movement in the lead, but it's nodding a wee bit. Anyway guys, I am going to fleet you back on time lapse. I'm going to sit down, have a calm down, have a cup of tea. I'd have a bicky, but I ain't got any bickies. I might need to recast that actually before I sit down. Leave it for now. I'll see you in a bit. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. well, I think we're going to have another nightmare session scenario, guys. I'm on my absolute last life now. I've just had to borrow I've just had to borrow shock leader from Dan down there. So before I get cheesed off and call it a night, where are we? YouTube. Right, let me just shout these channel names out correctly for you guys to be able to go and find, all right? We have got, if I can find it again, UK Sea Fishing with Big Dan. That's the Danny who's just given me the shock leader. Go subscribe. We've got Shane, the Holderness Cod Father. Excellent channel, go subscribe. And down the end there, we've got Jimmy from Cod Bites. Also, go subscribe. It is important. Obviously, also, if you're not subscribed, before you go and subscribe to their channels, press the subscribe button on my channel. But in a last ditch hope, I've just sent out, like I said, this is going to be it for me. If I lose this one, that is it. I'm going home, I'm peed off. My shopping list is already big enough from tonight's escapades. I need some new shock leaders. I need a few more weights. Although it gives me the opportunity to order some Gemini ones. But yeah, I've sent this one out with a little bit more range. Not much, but a little bit more range. It's not a blank, you know, we've had a fish, it's not a blank. But the session is quickly becoming shorter than I had intended. Yeah, I think I've gone into snag again, or if I haven't, I'm probably going to end up going over one of my many leads that are out there. Hopefully I'll retrieve one. Although I don't know, there has been knocks that you could perhaps say may have been bites, but already it's swung round. So yeah, we'll give it a soak, 5 minutes. We'll see if it sticks. I'm sorry I'm not very talkative, guys. Losing gear does put me in a bad mood because I'm a tight Yorkshireman. So apologies, but I'm gonna stick you back on time lapse and hope for a fish to cheer up to cheer myself up. Don't forget, guys, do go subscribe to the other fellas that I'm out with. I've had a cracking night. It was nice to finally come out and meet Shane, meeting Danny and Jimmy. Massive bonus. Really glad I came. Really glad I came. Losses aside. Do go check out their channels. They're brilliant channels. We're all in the same boat. We're all sitting around the same amount of subscribers. So it would be, if you're a fan of mine, trust me, you're going to enjoy their content, because once again, they're YouTubers that show real fishing. So yeah, I'll see you in a bit. Probably with a bye-bye, annoyed, see you later, I'm going home. But I'll see you in a bit. Dear me, it is really a nightmare session for me tonight. Let's see what's going on in Dan's live. Dan, I can hear your bells going. So, yeah. Is he trying to warm up and he's got one on his Johnson? Is he trying to warm himself up, is he? Dear me. Right, what's going on? This is what I thought about doing it tonight, to be honest, guys. I thought about going, ooh, that's a bit of a close up, isn't it? There we go. We're live at the moment. Well, I say we're live. I'm not live. Dan down the bottom end there, he's live. So it's what he does. I think he's spending the night. I don't know. But I'm going to have to come out your live, Dan. Make sure I've given it a thumbs up. Sorry, I'm realising I'm recording and I'm talking away in Dan's live. Yeah, so this is going to be my last cast. I kind of only wanted to stay out until about midnight. It is now midnight. It's been a nightmare session. I've lost 4 weights, 5 weights, 4 weights, I think. And then, you know, just as I thought, you know, I managed to actually bloody retrieve one. I get a massive, massive knot in the line. Didn't really lose much, but oh, it's probably just settling into a bloody snag. I didn't really lose much, it's just a pain in the arse. And it's a bit too cold to be fighting with fiddly little knots, so I just had to cut it out. I am loving having a bin right behind me. So, yeah, last cast. I'm going to sit down and have a cuppa. I don't know if I just missed a bite, like so it's probably just settling into a bloody snag again. But I'm going to sit down and have a cup of tea again. Yeah, the lead's still moving. I'll pop you back on time lapse, not that there's much to look at. The guys that I'm out fishing with tonight, as always, I say as always I will forget, but I will try and remember. Links in the video description to all of their channels. Please do go check them out. Please do show them some support. It's for us, it's what it's all about. You know, getting subscribers and knowing that the effort that we put into producing content is appreciated for the most part. Is seriously what it's all about. It's what matters for us, it's what drives us to do it. I know I've spoken recently about sort of when I met up with some other guys that were a little bit adverse to YouTubers. Yeah, I'll use the word adverse, I think that's the safest word. I'm not going to name any names, but they didn't like YouTubers being on their marks, shall we say. But I think a lot of people think that it's a quick, easy thing to do, and it wasn't until I was out with this gentleman in particular, who is the most helpful, nicest gentleman, or one of the nicest gentlemen I've met whilst fishing. It wasn't until I showed him sort of the kind of work that goes into running a YouTube channel, to making the videos, to producing the content, that he was sort of brought around to the idea of the fact that it's not a quick 5-minute thing to chuck a video up on YouTube. You know, it's a day's work. And hitting that like or dislike, joining in the conversation in the comments, and pressing that subscribe button. is the best way, and pretty much the only way, because I'm not going to do a membership thing, I'm not going to do a Patreon thing, he says at the moment. So the only way really to show your appreciation for us, because we're all small YouTubers, we're not monetized, we don't make money from YouTube at all as far as I'm aware. None of us are sponsored, none of us are given money to promote products. You know, you tend to find if we talk about products, like I talked about the rod, I talk about the gear I use, it's because I like the equipment I use. It's not because of any financial gain. You know, I talk about Georgia anglers and danglers. And it's not because I get anything back from doing that. It's because I genuinely support local businesses. Like in the last video when I spoke about Baitmate, I've bought Baitmates, I've not been given them, but it's a small business to support making a good product that I believe is a good product. You know, all businesses have to start somewhere. And if we take their product and we clone it, because we've got the tools to clone it in our garage at home, yes, all right, you may only be making one for yourself and you're not supplying them, you're not selling them, you're not giving them to your friends, blah, 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 but it's £10 that you're taking off somebody else. Somebody who's put time and effort into developing that product that you've ripped off in your garage at home. And then you show everybody on your channel that you've ripped off their product that you made in your garage at home. You know, you're taking money off a small business, which is basically taking money off somebody's plate. And I disagree with that. I think there's no need for it. It's a tenner. You know, you spend more than that if you go to McDonald's on the way to your fishing. Well, you do if you're a fat twat like me. So instead of going and getting that McDonald's, buy something from a small business. Go see Craig at Sea Weights. Go see Gary from Trident Tackle. Go see your local bloody tackle shop. Support the small business. The amount of time, I speak to Gary infrequently, but I do speak to Gary from Trident Tackle. The amount of time and effort he puts into developing, and from the feedback he gets, not from sponsorship deals, not from giving his products away, just from Fisherman. The feedback he gets and the time he puts into developing those little, you know, the roto clips, the new Dynaform, the new, the Imp 2, not Imp, that's bloody Breakaway, the Thermalink, the second iteration of the Thermalink, that minute change that he made from version 1 to version 2, took him ages to get right, and God knows how much money in prototyping and testing, and when you think a bag of 5 imps is what, £4, and a bag I think of 10 rotos is £3.5, £4, and especially at this time of year when you've got the bigger baits, I prefer the rotos. But then again, also in summer when you're fishing for the flatties, I prefer the rotos because I use a 2-hook clip now, and I find that having that bottom hook captive, that reminds me, I've got no rigs left to show you it on. I'll have to try and show you. In fact, I'm going to do a rig making video because I've run out of rigs now thanks to tonight. So I'll be doing a rig making video and I will show you in that one. It's no secret. It is something that I learned from Mark Williams' Sea Angling channel on YouTube. Very informative channel, very good at tying rigs. Do go check him out. A little thing about the Imp that not a lot of people know. I don't actually know if I've got one in my pocket, although showing it without a hook and line is going to be difficult. Where's my little bits box? Have I put it away? Yeah, I've put it away. So I'm not going to show you now. I'm just going to pour myself a cup of tea, well, because I'm on a right bloody rant here about all sorts of different stuff. So I'm going to pour myself a cup of tea and get on back on my soapbox for this last cast. Disappointed I've not even finished my tea. It's so cold, my bait has refrozen. I did some squid and black wraps before I came out that were fully defrosted. It's so cold they've actually frozen. But it doesn't feel that, at least I don't feel that cold. Word is Stallingborough / Immingham from the mighty Dave. If you watch Vern's fishing, you'll know who I'm talking about. Word is that that's fish crap tonight. But the amount of snow and rain we've had in the last 2 days, it doesn't surprise me. In the last few days, it doesn't surprise me that the river or the estuary is fishing a little bit pants at the moment. It's just had a load more fresh water dumped in it from the snow. We're heading into small tides. So I might do a late night session back end of next week down the estuary, down the bottom end, and then I'm hoping actually I'll be able to get Alf and maybe Rosa, depending on the times of the tides, up to Easington, and hopefully I can get these guys out with me again on Easington Beach. The tides should be pretty much ideal for it. It's just going to be the timings. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. I'm running out of water here, guys. I'm running out of water. It's almost to the point where I wouldn't be able to return a fish. So I'm going to finish this tea and I'm going to call it a night. So that's one hell of a rant at the end of the video, and I do apologise. Although not many of you stick around this far into the video, so it'll probably largely go unheard. So yeah, I'll bid you farewell. Stay safe. If you're a fisherman, tight lines. I hope you had a good Christmas. I hope you had a good New Year's Eve. And I hope that we'll see some more fish soon, because the estuary at the moment's fishing appalling. Well, everywhere's fishing appallingly on the Lincolnshire coast at the moment. Fingers crossed for summer, eh? Fingers crossed. We'll do a bit of flatty bashing, me and Rosa, when in that sort of seasonal lull, when the cod die off. Well, not die off, but when the cod bugger off. Not that I'll have caught one, but when the cod bugger off, me and Rosa will do a bit of flatty bashing. Take her out with a little light rod and a little 6,000 reel, and we'll do a bit of flatty bashing down on the creek and things like that. And see if we can get her casting with some lighter leads on a scratching rig. Some advice on the comments on that would be great, about getting Rosa out. She's only a wee bairn. She's only, well, now she's 9. But she's only wee, so she needs, some lightweight gear, which I've pretty much got for her. And then I've got some more gear for her to grow into. But some advice on some little rigs, and what sort of, I've never made particularly scratching rigs or things like that, so I wouldn't know where to begin. So your weights, any advice on weights, rigs, hook sizes would be greatly received. Don't forget to subscribe to those guys. Don't forget to subscribe to me. Don't forget to press that like button. Unless there's a fish on the end of this line, it's going to be the last you're going to see from me today. So stay safe, tight lines. I'll see you later. Just before we go, guys, thought I'd come and show you some real anglers. Some fellas who actually know what they're doing. Has he got a double shot there?
No, just a decent size waiting.
Oh.
Thought it was a cod then.
Well, so come down quickly.
Are you wrapping up, mate?
Yeah, I'm packed down.
Yeah, I'm gonna. This is my last one. This one.
didn't want to push my luck. I've managed to retrieve that weight 3 times. I thought, I'm not waving my camera about here. It's still bloody recording. We'll go see Danny's whiting before it goes back. It's bloody slippy. I know, I saw he had a right battle getting it out, didn't he? We'll go see Danny's whiting. Fair size, that. Nice one. Nice one. Yeah, it's alright. Yeah. Yeah, I thought come see some proper fishermen before I go home.
Yeah, the ones that get real good bites and don't get them.
Are you guys still on 0?
Yeah, I've had some cracking bites there, I can't fault them.
Oh, I've had no...
Since 6 o'clock and I haven't had a bite.
Oh dear me.
Terrible.
I've had that one flatty, that's me.
I'm not going to get a bite off our lads tonight.
My chances of that went at about 8 o'clock, I think.
Yeah, I've had some cracking bites now, it's just unfortunate.
It is.
I'll be dreaming about that fish and I've pulled in there, about 10 foot from the wall.
Yeah, Shane said you dropped one just at foot at wall.
Without a doubt, that was a massive fish.
Dear God.
I've never been slack line while I've been reeling in, but that slack line me a lot. Before we thought we'd lost the gear.
Yeah.
And it was a real big slack line.
Must have darted into rocks at your feet.
It must have shut off, yeah. Pulled the lead with the pipe and
Yeah.
I'm up tired or whatever, but it really did slack line me a lot. I still had it though when I got rid of the slack line again.
Yeah.
I lost it near the wall.
Bloody hell. Dear me.
Just one of them things, isn't it?
It is. It happens. It's like me, I keep losing them in surf.
This is notorious for big double figures here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice mark. I will come back. I will be back. I mean, it's weird, but you know, Immingham from my house to Immingham's 25-30 minutes, and then to here is only 45.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
So,
it's a straight line though, that's
well,
weird.
it is. Yeah, it's a straight shot down motorway as well.
Another bridge and straight down the motorway, so it's a lot quicker, isn't it?
It is really quick.
I think that's why, like Ben likes fishing the Holderness course because it's
Yeah,
apart
straight
from
shot.
When you get near rolling, you get the speed limits like.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that yeah.
Speed limits around here.
I know it's what where they're doing those roadworks. It's 2025 that's due to finish now, isn't it? So.
Of course, they've got speed cameras overhead all the way down there.
Yes, they have. Yeah.
Is it 40 now? Can't remember. I can't remember. They reduced it to 40, you know.
I can't remember. I know they have on A180. Jesus, that makes driving into Grimsby a long drive.
Mind you, this is a pain getting in here because they've blocked all the roundabout off. I had to go all the way up and come back down.
What, they closed it since we've got here, have they?
Well, when I came through with it, it was all blocked off and there was only one
bloody
lane
hell.
open.
Getting
Go
out.
all the way up to the next roundabout, spin all the way around, which is about a mile up there.
That's going to be fun for me getting out. For me and Shane getting out then, isn't it?
No, it's open now, really.
Oh, right.
10 in either blocked it.
Oh, right. That's nice of them, isn't
It's
it?
all blocked off. So whether they're doing something on the roundabout tonight.
Yeah, must be. Right, I'm going to go get my gear and get off home and get some dinner.
I think Dan's staying well late.
I said he was fishing through.
Whether I'll be a finger by 2 o'clock, mate.
Yeah.
It's getting really cold.
It is. I've just said as I signed off there. My bait was defrosted when I got here. It's frozen now.
Yeah, when you get older, you can't feel it, don't you?
Not half. Right, I'm going to get my gear and.
Nice to meet you, isn't it?
Yeah, nice to meet you.
I'm sure we'll bump into each other on the coast somewhere because we're always out now 2 or 3 nights times a week still.
Well, I've got you on Facebook now, so if you're ever over my way, especially on weekends, give me a shout.
Yeah, we'll fish that in at some point anyway.
But I'm hoping, like I said, to drag you guys down onto Bonkers Bank for hopefully for smoothhounds in summertime.
Oh, that'd be great, won't it?
Because it's well, it is. It's secluded enough to be able to, you know, have a proper cook up and you can fish it. You've no need to stop fishing at all. You've no need to wait for tides. You can continue constantly.
Yeah, same here, you can fish here. And there's a
So-
bit there as well.
Yeah. So
I haven't fished this before, but it's real nice, isn't it?
it is. It's really nice here.
You can't
Is your
fault it.
is your bivvy in Shane's or mine, or have you got it?
I think it's in Shane's.
I'll check before I go.
I've got one in the car, but I can't carry it out. Disaster coming here. A lot
I
of
think-
days in my boat.
I know. I did say. I said at start of my video, so make sure you go show Jimmy some love because he's had a bloody nightmare getting here.
I've got all the locksmiths to come straight out, 'cause otherwise they'll-
I'll leave you a pair of forceps as well. I've got your pair of forceps out. You know, I forgot to get them out. Remind me when I come back up. But shot leader's back on your box. Thanks for that. Right, anyway, I'm going to sign this off. So I'll see you later. Jimmy, that's Cod Bites. Dan, say your channel name because I always forget it.
Fishing with Big Dan.
UKC Fishing with Big Dan. Shane, Holderness Cod Father. Is that your kid Andy? Not on YouTube. So make sure you nipple onto their channels. Links will be in description. I'll see you later.